Kia ora, hello everybody, and welcome to this video about the astrological energies affecting us for the week beginning Saturday the 28th of December until Sunday the 5th of January. We are into the new year 2025 with this forecast. We have a new moon in the sign of Capricorn to get us going on the 31st of December, and we've got the challenging but hopefully transformative Mars-Pluto opposition. Mercury comes out of shadow, and we've got a nice one, an easier one, Venus moving into the sign of Pisces. So this is Western tropical astrology from the point of view of New Zealand and Australia and the Southern Hemisphere. And my name is Fiona of Sun and Moon Calendar, and you can see the New Zealand edition of the calendar here, and I'll put up an image of the Australian cover for the calendar, which is available in Australia now, and both of them are available online at sunandmooncalendar.nz. So let's get into this week coming up. And starting with the moon phase that we're in. So we have a new moon in the sign of Capricorn, the first lunation of the year, though technically it's one day before the calendar year starts. And we've just come out of the summer solstice where the sun went into Capricorn. So the sun's already in Capricorn. And this is the moment at new moon where the moon catches up with the sun and they join together in a conjunction. Okay, and that's the time to have a fresh start. Every new moon, so every lunar month, we can have a fresh start. Take some quiet time during the new moon, the few days, and then when the crescent appears in the sky, you can really get going. But during that quiet time, try and have some stillness or just go about your daily business, but allow something to perhaps bubble up from within, some whispers from your heart, perhaps. Okay. And just to show that the lunar months are all set out on the calendar, so the sun and moon calendar is laid out in lunar months, not calendar months. And you can see that first month of 2025, it actually starts on the 31st of December because that's when the new moon is. Okay. And there's an Australian sample page, so you can see what that looks like. And I chose with the help of Tara Waters, who helped me choose the animals. She's an Australian astrologer of Tara Waters Astrology. She helped me to choose the Australian Kelpie dog because they're so hardworking. So that represents Capricorn really nicely. And there are new moon questions for every new moon. So at the time of the new moon or in the days around that, you might want to use those meditation prompts that are in the calendar, either to actually meditate on or just think about, let those ideas percolate through. And I'm showing there a picture of an image of the New Zealand Capricorn page, and that is represented by a taa, the mountain goat that's so able and nimble up high in the mountains. It can withstand the cold and that extreme climate there, and that's why I chose the taa as quite a beautiful creature, I think. Okay, and then we have the moon square sun on Tuesday the 7th of January. So that's the first quarter moon, and that will be the next point or main point in the lunar cycle according to Western astrology. If you are in New Zealand, Aotearoa, and you follow Maramataka, of course with Maramataka every day is named as a different phase of the moon. So with Maramataka, you're always looking at the shape and the size of the moon. Okay, but this would be similar to indigenous calendars all over the world which followed the lunar cycle. Okay, and there's an image that my friend Leonora Soares, her name's missing from there, so I'll put that up some in the notes for this video in the description. So she's a photographer, and she said, I don't think you've got a picture of the first quarter moon in the daytime, because with the half moon or the quarter moon, you can see it at night and in the day. And this is an image where the moon had risen not long before. It was in the afternoon, and at the quarter moon, the moon rises halfway through the day. And so it's just coming up there, and that's why it's still on that angle that you can see. Let's look now at the main events happening this week. Well, on Christmas Day, we had one of the exact moments of 3 exact moments of the Jupiter-Saturn square. And if you want to go in depth on this, you can see the video that I did with my astrology teacher, Ksenia Moore, that came out last Saturday on Ksenia's channel. But I've put a link in, I'll put a link in the description below, but also on the Facebook page, the Sun and Moon Calendar Facebook page, and on the website. So you can see, you can listen to an hour and a half of discussion about this square and the synodic cycle between Jupiter and Saturn, which started at the summer solstice or the winter solstice, December solstice in 2020. And right on Christmas Day, we have the second of 3 exact squares. And this means that we are wanting, with some kind of big long-term project, long-term creative journey, where we want the optimism and confidence of Jupiter and the luck that Jupiter can bring to help us expand and grow into this. There can be a joyful feeling with that kind of creativity. But as we're at that square point with Saturn, adding that tension to this project, that's with this Jupiterian energy, Saturn is bringing blocks and challenges, slowing things down, and requiring of us hard work, commitment, and responsibility. So that's not easy, and it can be a time of working really hard without seeing rewards yet. And it is a time actually of doing practical things in the world. So it is a time of taking action. Unlike if it was a Neptune transit, where it might be time to just go with the flow and let things happen to us. With the Saturn energy, we should be trying to do things, okay, and trying to fix these challenges and address them. So good luck with that, everybody. That tension will ease off after that exact point. So we're coming out of that tense time, but it becomes exact again in June 2025. Okay. And I've included here a slide about Chiron, because Chiron stations direct on Monday the 30th of December. And I don't do too much on Chiron because, there's enough to talk about. But I do really enjoy working with Chiron to some extent myself, because I do feel like as part of our condition as a human, or our spiritual work that we signed up for, in this human life that we're in and we've chosen to be in. Chiron is that deep inner wound that we all have it. I don't think anyone doesn't have it. They'd be some kind of higher being, maybe moved up the ladder in the type of existence that they're living. So inside we've got some deep childhood wound, a sense of shame, of deep vulnerability that gets triggered from time to time, painfully. And over the last few months, Chiron's been going retrograde, and that might mean that we've been addressing that inner wound, that childhood wound, in a quiet way, an internal way. It's so subtle, you might not even realize it. But upon Chiron going direct for the following months, that might be a chance, with that inner work that we've been doing, that quiet learning, that we can apply some of that in the outer world and just work through another of the many, many layers that is that deep lifetime wound, really. Yeah, all part of it. Okay, and then on Tuesday the 31st, of course, we've got the new moon in the sign of Capricorn. And then On the 3rd of January, we've got Venus going into Pisces. And Pisces is a sign in which Venus is very happy. Venus is exalted in Pisces. Venus is about partnership and money on the practical level and material things and the adornments that help beauty. But also Venus can be so sweet and loving. And Pisces helps that because Pisces brings some of the romance and idealism and compassion with that, and dreaminess. So there can be some lovely creativity, some lovely romantic connections with your significant other or with important people in your life. And a nice chance to dream and feel like there's lovely magic in life. It could also be really enjoying sensual comforts and pleasures, and that can be a lovely aspect of summer. And we always have Venus going through Pisces around about this time. Okay. But on the same day, this challenging one, not so easy, Mars is about our willpower, our determination, our desire. And Mars going the wrong way, the shadow side of Mars is aggression, pushiness, brashness, fighting. And Pluto going the right way, the upside of Pluto is that it's transformative and we develop depth and understanding, and we understand our underlying layers, and we embrace our shadow side. But with an opposition, we're getting the more challenging aspects of both of these, and the challenging side of Pluto is again regression, but more in a strategic, manipulative way. And so I've put there, with this opposition, there can be, not necessarily, but there could be, it's in the air, more likelihood of conflict and tension and anger spilling out. There could be explosions where people just spit the dummy, or it could be more an implosion because Pluto is more about the deep down hidden stuff where you just feel like an inner volcano. And a tension between wanting to take this direct action or move strategically like Pluto. Okay, and added to this, Mars, of course, is retrograde, and that already means that Mars, just wants to be direct and take action. But with the retrograde, Mars is confounded with this. It's not easy to do. We just need to wait until after 24th of February when Mars goes direct for many things. This is the second of 3 such oppositions between these two. So I hope that goes well. And I think that Venus and Pisces might help to ease some of it. They're not exactly aspecting in a very helpful way, but nevertheless, there's always a mixture of energies. And so be patient and try and go for a hard run or climb a steep hill, press ups. All that might help. Okay. Also on the 3rd of January, we've got Mercury leaving its post-shadow zone. So we've had Mercury retrograde recently, and then Mercury's been going forward over the same degrees that it retrograded over, and after the 3rd of January, it moves forward, and soon it's going to actually finally move out of Sagittarius, where it's been for quite a while, and move into Capricorn. So there we've got lots to think about over that New Year period with that new moon. And of course, many people are on holiday. We're seeing family members. We're catching up with old friends we may not have seen for a while. And there's all that holiday planning to do. It's not a straight routine time. So good luck with that, everybody. Always there can be so much joy, but also challenge at those times of year. So that's a little bit of a helpful guide, I hope, with the energies going on. So now I'm going to just go through chronologically, one thing at a time, and see what's going on in the coming week. So this week's aspects and transits for 28th of December up to the 5th of January. Okay, on Friday the 27th of December, so the day before this video comes out, just to remind you, we have had Mercury opposite Jupiter, the third and final of these oppositions, the final peak of a T-square, because at the same time Saturn is square to Jupiter and therefore also square to Mercury. So that's been tension with opposition, square, not very easy, thinking about the big picture versus the detail, but we'll be moving out of it now. Okay, and on Friday the 27th of December also Mercury comes into that exact square with Saturn. Okay, and that can put a limitation on ideas and communication, make things feel a bit too serious and sensible and boring maybe. Okay, all right. Saturday the 28th of December, we've got Venus square to Uranus, and they're both in fixed signs. And this is obviously before Venus moves into Pisces, so Venus is still in Aquarius. Okay, Uranus is disruptive and restless, exciting as well, awakening as well. But with a square, it might feel more like the negative side of things with Uranus, and it might mean that we're feeling restless and dissatisfied in relationship or with our financial situation or with the ways that we enjoy pleasure. And I think I suggested in the last video it could be that we've just had enough of all the rich food that we might be eating over Christmas and the holidaying and sitting around on the couch and watching Christmas movies or chat, small talk, drinking, and maybe we just need to go out and get some fresh air and have a bit of alone time maybe. Okay, on Monday the 30th of December, Chiron turns direct, as I said, and this is where our energy towards healing the inner wounds that we all have can then turn outwards, and we might notice the result of the inner work that we did. However, it will be subtle, and that is in Aries, 19 degrees. On Tuesday, the 31st of December, we've got the new moon, lovely, in Capricorn, and that means a fresh start in the Capricorn area of your chart. But whatever area of life Capricorn falls in for you, there's still that general energy of Capricorn that is about seeking long-term goals, achieving mastery, plodding and working steadily and in a dedicated way towards our long-term goals. Okay. And then on Friday the 3rd of January, Venus entering Pisces, allowing us to have some dreamy sweetness and some artistic loving and creativity and romance. Yeah, it's just a happy time with Venus and Pisces, and that's until the 4th of February. Okay. And then on Friday the 3rd of January, we've got that Mars retrograde opposite to Pluto, and that's where we might be feeling a lot of inner conflict and tension, and there can be, it can take the form of where there's actually a conflict between you and another person with that opposition energy, you versus another person. And one of you might want to just fight it out, and the other one might want to make strategic power moves. I think the strategic power moves might win. So be careful if you're taking on a fight, because it's not conducive to winning, especially if you're the more into the direct action, because Mars is retrograde and direct action is not working so well at the moment. Okay. On Sunday, the 5th of January, we've got the Sun sextile to Saturn, and we keep hearing about Saturn being the baddie and making things difficult and challenging. But the positive side of Saturn is that achieving mastery and working hard for long-term goals and results coming from the hard work that we do on the material level in the earthly realm. The Sun sextile Saturn, means that we're encouraged to take a disciplined approach and enjoy the hard work towards our creative expression, and that's the sun, or ways that we take the lead in the world, ways that we shine and put out our sunny energy into the world. So there's support for that. Another way it might be is like with a creative project, that the natural boundaries or the rules of the project or the timeline of the project encourages the creativity. You know, sometimes when you've got these specifications that you have to meet, it actually encourages you to think outside the box and find a way to meet the requirements and the criteria, and that can be a fun challenge. So that's another way that Saturn could play out, is by providing boundaries or criteria that you have to meet in your creativity. Okay, and just beyond the week that I'm covering, just to let you know, Mars retrograde will be re-entering Cancer. And with Mars in Cancer, that's more about indirect action and probably a little bit volatile with our emotional sensitivity. So take care of that. Yeah, just to let you know about that going ahead. There we go, everybody. That's all from me. I hope that you have a great week with your family or significant people, or with yourself, even if you're still working, because I know a lot of people are keeping everything going. Thank you. And remember, you can still order. We've still got plenty of calendars to send out to you in Australia and New Zealand or Aotearoa. So go to Sun and Moon Calendar to order your calendar in time to get you going in January for the coming year. It's all go after New Year, of course. So bye for now, and enjoy the holiday season if you're on holiday. Hei konara.